Imagine spending 20 years estranged from your only son, only for him to come crawling back at Christmas, not out of love, but out of greed. That's exactly what happened to Stanley. But what Ethan didn't realize is that Stanley had been waiting his entire life for this moment. This isn't just a story about money. It's about betrayal, revenge, redemption, and the kind of justice only a father can deliver. If you've ever dreamed of giving someone exactly what they deserve, of watching karma catch up in the most perfect way, then hit that like button, subscribe, and stick with me, because what you're about to hear is one of the most powerful, emotionally charged revenge stories you'll ever come across. Stanley was a man in his late 60s, retired with a quiet dignity about him. His life had been marked by hard work, blue-collar labor that left his hands rough, but his spirit resilient. For 20 years, he'd lived alone in the same small, neatly kept house. Why alone? Because his son, Ethan, had walked out on him after a brutal falling out in his 20s. Stanley had tried everything back then. Calls, letters, visits, but Ethan shut the door, both literally and emotionally. He carried that wound for decades. No Christmas calls, no birthday cards. He only heard whispers about Ethan's life through distant relatives, bad investments, debt, and a trail of failed ventures. Stanley mourned his son as though he were gone. Until one Christmas, Ethan came back. It was snowing outside when Stanley heard a knock at his door. Opening it, he was stunned. There stood Ethan, now in his 40s, with his wife Marissa at his side and 2 children, Emily and Nathan. At first, Stanley's heart leapt. Maybe he's come back to make things right. But within minutes, the truth became clear. Ethan wasn't there for reconciliation. He was there for money. Over cocoa by the fireplace, Ethan leaned in. "Dad, we heard about your inheritance from Aunt Claire. That's a lot of money for one man to handle. Maybe it's time you start thinking about family responsibility." The words cut deep. Not love you, not I've missed you, just money. The days that followed revealed Ethan's intentions. He kept bringing up joint investments, family trusts, and future security. His wife Marissa whispered about how selfish it would be for Stanley to sit on that wealth while they struggled. Stanley noticed the way Ethan's eyes scanned his home, calculating, measuring. But something unexpected happened. Stanley's granddaughter Emily lingered behind after one of these conversations. She was 16, bright-eyed and surprisingly candid. "Grandpa," she said softly, "I don't think Dad cares about making things right with you. He just wants your money. I heard him on the phone last night with Mom. They think you'll give in because you're lonely." Those words broke Stanley's heart, but they also lit a fire inside him. That night Stanley lay awake in bed staring at the ceiling. His chest tightened, but not from sadness, from clarity. "For 20 years, I begged for my son's love. He didn't want me then. Now he wants my money. If he thinks he can waltz back into my life and rob me of my dignity, he has no idea who he's dealing with." Stanley decided if Ethan wanted a game, he was going to get one. But it would be Stanley who set the rules. Stanley invited Ethan and his family to Christmas dinner at his house. He cooked the meal himself: roast turkey, mashed potatoes, pie. The table was warm, glowing with candles and laughter. But beneath the surface, Stanley was building toward something. After dinner, as the family gathered around the tree, Stanley cleared his throat. He held a thick envelope. "Ethan," he began, "I want to give you clarity." He handed Ethan the envelope. Ethan ripped it open eagerly, expecting a check. Instead, he found a dossier: bank statements, credit reports, foreclosure notices, all of Ethan's financial failures. How did you get these?" Ethan stammered. Stanley's eyes narrowed. You think I don't hear things? You're drowning in debt, Ethan. And you thought you could crawl back here and bleed me dry? But here's the truth. You're not getting a cent, not until you prove you've earned it. The room went silent. Marissa's face turned red. Emily looked down in shame. Nathan squirmed uncomfortably. Stanley wasn't cruel. He wasn't going to disown his grandchildren for Ethan's mistakes. Instead, he laid out his plan. You want help, Ethan? Here's my offer. I'll cover Emily and Nathan's college savings directly. No money passes through you. And for you, I'll match every dollar you earn honestly up to a certain amount. But no more handouts. You'll work, or you'll get nothing. Ethan's face twisted. Rage, humiliation, desperation, all mixed together. You can't control me like this, Dad, he shouted. Stanley leaned in, voice cold but calm. I'm not controlling you. I'm saving you from yourself. Over the following months, Ethan resisted. He tried guilt trips, angry calls, even threats of cutting Stanley off forever. But Stanley stood firm. Eventually, Ethan broke. He took a low-paying but steady job. He started saving. Slowly, painfully, he began climbing out of the hole he had dug. And Stanley watched, silently, proudly, not because he wanted revenge anymore, but because he wanted his son to finally grow up. By the next Christmas, things had changed. Ethan wasn't perfect, but he was trying. He had shown progress. Stanley, true to his word, matched Ethan's savings and contributed directly to his grandchildren's future. Sitting by the fire that night, Emily leaned against her grandfather's shoulder. "Grandpa," she whispered, "thank you. You're the only one who ever believed we deserved better." Stanley smiled, eyes glistening. For the first time in decades, he felt peace, not because he punished his son, but because he reclaimed his dignity and in doing so, gave his family a chance at a real future. Sometimes revenge isn't about destroying someone. It's about forcing them to face the truth. Stanley didn't just protect his inheritance. He taught his son the hardest lesson of all, responsibility. And in the end, that was worth more than any check he could have written. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and drop a comment. Do you think Stanley was too harsh or exactly right? And of course, don't forget to subscribe for more gripping revenge stories just like this one.